Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome back to Anime King. And I'm back with something new for you guys to enjoy. I got this idea some time ago and I recently got it once again. As I said, I was going to be doing some of the more new ideas as I finished majority of the old ideas. So I got this some time ago, but I recently got it once again in my community tab when I told you guys to go ahead and make your suggestions. So I just want to thank SCP-682. This one is going to be What If Naruto Was Trigon? Reincarnation from the DC Comics, guys. Remember to get this one too. 100 like as usual. Share this to all of your friends on your social media platform. And also, guys, if you're new, yes, I indeed have 4 more channels. They will all be down in the description, so go ahead, check them out and enjoy. So without further ado or wasting any more time, let's begin now, guys. The fabric of the dimensions scream across the burning expand of the Azaronian nexus. Reality bend and buckle under the weight of cosmic warfare. Trigon, the lord of hundreds of worlds, the conqueror of 10,000s of realities, stood amongst the tower, watching the shattering remains of the once thriving dimension. His 4 eyes blazing as he surveyed the army that was against him. His voice boom, "I am Trigon." His voice tearing through the void itself. Stars start to flicker in close by dimensions and die. "I am the darkness between worlds. I am the fear that dwell within the heart of the righteousness. I have conquered billions. I've enslaved trillions. What are you but insects before my..." The blast caught him mid-declaration. It wasn't just from any single sorcerer. Not Raven. Not the Titans. Not the assembled heroes of dozens of realities. It was something else. Something fundamental. The collective will of the reality itself, rejecting him like a body, rejecting poison. Trigon stumbled, his massive form cracking like obsidian, struck by lightning. "Impossible. I am eternal. I am..." Space distorted as he was cut off. Time itself seemed to bend backwards and forwards and sideways. Through the dimension that had no name, reality didn't just crack. It shattered into tiny micro fragments, each piece reflecting a possible different existence. Trigon started to unravel, his essence scattering across the multiverse like seed into a massive soil, the soil representing the multiverse. As it spread, he reached out with all of his arms, trying to anchor himself to this dimension, to any dimension, but the cosmic rejection was absolute. His consciousness fragmented and dissolved, scattering across the infinite possibilities of existence its very self. And within his final moment, the demon lord that ruled over trillions scream, not in rage but in something that he never before experienced. Terror. The light swallowed everything. Within that exact moment, a different location, beyond reach to most, not even in the same understanding of where Trigon once was. The first thing he felt was cold. The second thing he felt was pain. But the pain was not his own. It wasn't his pain that he was feeling. A lot of emotion, fear, rage, grief, all mixing together, assaulting his senses. His baby eyes snapped open. They were blue, but for a fraction of a second something flickered in their depths. Something ancient, something that watched civilization rise and fall and melt away. "It's a boy," the voice spoke up. The first thing he saw was the blonde man moving aside into his own view. As he saw the blonde hair and blue eyes gazing down towards him. "Where am I? What happened? I was..." The memories all scatter away before they could form, his infant brain unable to grasp them and hold them together. But something remained, a sense of awareness, a sense of understanding, a feeling like he was not exactly what he was supposed to be, a feeling that he could not understand. He felt movement as he was taken away. However, his body seemed to be unable to truly keep up, as it seemed to be truly settling in, yet his understanding was still there. Everything started to move, voices started to make all around him, louder and louder, panic, fear. It all simply converged. Time skip. 3 years later, the Konoha Orphanage sat tall as it was within the village sector, standing as a proud monument, a location where children who lost everything had a home. Matron Akiko had ran this orphanage for a long time now. She ran it for over 40 years. She was old, but she enjoyed what she brought into the world. She would say that she understood children rather well. She knew which ones would thrive. She knew which ones needed extra attention, which ones were hiding behind their smile and had nothing but pain behind it. But then you had Naruto Uzumaki. That boy troubled her in ways that she couldn't even properly understand. It wasn't just that he was a nine-tailed Jinchuriki. Well, that did complicate matters, but the third Hokage had made it rather clear that that information would not be told to anyone, not even the child as well. But it was something else about him. He was 3 years old. It was the way that he looked at people. He was old enough to play with the other children, old enough to cry when he got hurt, old enough to laugh at simple jokes. And he did do all of those things. But something was just wrong. It was his eyes. Akiko watched him from the window. He sat alone away from the children, as usual. He was not excluded though. He could walk up and join them if he wished. But he sat there. As he gazed towards two boys, there was this strange intensity in his eyes that made her skin crawl. The boys were arguing over a toy kunai. Nothing unusual. Kids argue over toys constantly. As the argue escalated, Naruto's eyes were fixated on them like a cat watching its lunch. A small little mice that had no idea just how screwed it actually was. Then suddenly, one of the boys pushed the other one. When he hit the ground, he exploded with rage. Far more rage than he should have been able to muster. But it was like an explosion of his emotions, snapping out of control. The next moment, 5 others joined in. Akiko got up as she made her way to stop the fight. However, when she looked at Naruto, he was smiling. Not the innocent, joyful smile of a child who saw something funny, but something else, something satisfying. Like he was a puppeteer, controlling all of the puppets in front of him. The fight was broken up as she intervened. The children could not explain what came over them, as their bruises and cuts were tended to. Akiko watched as they could not explain the burst of rage that simply swelled inside of them, most of the others saying that it was just running emotion getting out of control. Naruto had lost interest a long time ago. His attention now focused on a beetle that was crossing the ground. This was not the first incident though. Over the past year, children who normally get along and had fun together suddenly start to randomly turn against each other. Toys breaking at the right moment to make tension rise. Escalation pushing. And always Naruto was nearby. He was watching. He's possessed by the demon. Some of the villagers mutter. They thought she couldn't hear them, but she heard them rather well. The fox. It's showing itself. They mutter as they watch the boy whenever they pass through. But Akiko didn't think that it was that simple. She's seen with her own eyes the third Hokage interact with Naruto. If the boy was indeed being influenced by the Nine Tail, the Hokage would know. The Hokage would act. The Hokage would do something about it. But this was something else entirely. Later that night, as she made her final rounds, she stopped. Knowing that he was inside of that room, as she pressed her ear against the door, she heard humming. Yes, humming from the inside. He was humming a tune that she did not recognize, and it made her feel chills. Fear, doubt, anger, all so sweet, all so warm. As she heard his voice spoke so softly, she placed a hand on the doorknob. She should go in, check on him. She should. Instead, she walked away. She walked away instead, hating herself for her cowardness, but the primal instinct that told her to leave that door alone. It was simply too much for her to resist. That night her dream was filled with 4 red glowing eyes. As she woke up in a sweat, covering her mouth, feeling this copper taste inside of it. It was strange. When she came down the next morning, Naruto was already there. The meal was prepared. There was a lot of them around here after all. "Good morning, Matron Akiko," he said. His voice, childish, innocent, sweet. But his eyes were different. Time skip. Academy years. They started at 6, where the children were placed into the institution to learn how to become shinobis of Konoha. The children were categorized, evaluated, so that they could be properly nurtured to bring their true strength forward. As Iruka Mino gazed towards Naruto Uzumaki file, it was confusing. Taijutsu score, average. They tried to test him on using his chakra, not for any jutsus or anything, but just to see what he was capable of. But that was below average. Iruka believed that maybe it was a Nine-Tails interference. Academics though, surprisingly good, especially in history and strategy. He excelled in those areas. However, the group of people that did these tests, they wrote some rather strange note that no other children received. Subjects show unusual awareness of others, emotional state. Subject appear to anticipate conflicts before they even occur. Subject demonstrate lack of fear, responses during all combat scenarios. Recommended psychiatric evaluation. That part was written by all 3 of the proctors. Iruka sighed. He knew that Naruto would be complicated, given the boy's status of being the Nine-Tailed Jinchuriki, as he was hoping that he would get to build a rapport with him, knowing full well that the boy was gonna need it. That was until it was 1 week. Iruka had paired them all off to test their basic fighting skills. Majority of them originate from many different areas and different clans. So you would expect them to have different level of understanding. Naruto was paired with Shikamaru Nara, a lazy but brilliant boy who would not take things too far just in case. The match should have been uneventful, but within 30 seconds, Shikamaru was on his back. As he gazed up towards Naruto, his expression, he looked rather uneasy. Naruto was over him, his fist raised, but he hadn't struck. He had this intensity in his eyes, the same one that Aruka had noticed before. Winner, Naruto Uzumaki, Aruka called. But that wasn't what bothered him. Shikamaru wasn't even hurt. He wasn't winded, he wasn't tired yet. He was pale. Yet he scrambled away from Naruto with urgency. Shikamaru was pulled aside as Aruka questioned him. What happened? Nothing, I just thought he was going to keep hitting me. I thought he was going to enjoy it. Aruka was confused. But he didn't hit you. No, but he wanted to. I could see it. And that was even worse, Shikamaru said. Aruka jotted that down in his notes, confused about the conversation. Yet Naruto seemed to be oblivious of this. He went to class, he did his homework, he did his assignments. He was genuinely normal, yet it was like an actor who was saying the words, reading for a certain character, but they didn't understand the emotion behind those words, the feelings. Like they did not know what they were. Mostly who they are. Even when he smiled at jokes, the smile never truly reached his eyes. He seemed frustrated when he couldn't do things, but most times it seemed like a performance that he was putting on for their sake. He made friends, but the friendships never truly solidified, as people seem to keep their distance. Well, except for one. Hinata wasn't supposed to be there yet. She was a few months behind. She was younger than the rest, as she was still 5 years old. But Hayashi, her father, insisted the girl was too soft, too weak. Early exposure to the harsh environment of the academy should toughen her up. She sat in the back of the class, her pale eyes downcast as she tried to make herself as small as humanly possible. The other students terrified her with their casual cruelty and their confidence. Many of them already mocked her for her stutterness and her strange eyes, as they call it. She just wanted to disappear. That is when she noticed him. Naruto Uzumaki. He sat 3 rows ahead of her. But his attention was not even looking at Aruka or the board. He had turned completely around in his seat, and he was looking at her without blinking. Her first instinct was to look away, to shrink within herself, but something about his unblinking gaze captivated her as she could not look away. She should be terrified, but yet there was something underneath. He sees you. Not the disappointment, not the weak Hyuga ear. He sees you, Hinata Hyuga. He smiled at her, which seemed more strange. Naruto, Aruka said. Face forward or I'll have you run laps, he said to Naruto. He shifted without question, turning back around. At lunch, Hinata sat alone, as she was at the table, picking through her food without much appetite, until a shadow loomed over her. She looked up. There he stood. Can I sit here? He looked down towards her. She froze for a moment before she timidly nodded. Without looking up, they're scared of you. Did you know that? Naruto questioned. Hinata stuttered. No one is scared of me. I'm the one who is, not the students. He cut her off. Your family, your father, they're scared that you won't be strong enough, that you would fail them, that you won't be what the perfect bloodline was supposed to be. Hinata looked towards him. How could he possibly? She didn't understand. How would he even know that? But that is good, Naruto said. Fear is very useful. It makes people do things they wouldn't normally do. It makes them malleable, he said. I don't understand, she said. You will. We're going to be friends, Hinata. I've decided, he said. Hinata felt like she could not or should not say no. Oh, okay, she said. As she didn't know what to say to that but just okay. Well, at least she wasn't alone. Time skip. Naruto was 7 years old. The orphanage had a basement. Technically, it was used to store old furniture. Things that they got in bulk. It was much cheaper. Akiko rarely visited down there. Rarely. Naruto had claimed the corner as his own. A section that he just found rather peaceful. He started to come down here maybe a year ago. To get away from the noise. To get away from the voices. The other children's emotions were so loud. Their fears, their insecurity, all crashing down on him. In the darkness, it was peaceful, quiet. He tried his best to remember, but the memories came in fragments, never quite complete. Vast armies kneeling before him, worlds burning at his command. Entire civilizations, their fears so intoxicating. A name that was chanted. It started with T, but the memory slipped away before he could remember. He knew on some level that he was supposed to be something more greater than this body. Something powerful, something terrifying, something demonic. But it was like trying to hold water in your hands. The harder he grabbed, the more it slipped away. Thus he started to begin the experiments. The first test subject was a rat. He caught it rather easily. It struggled. It was terrified. He could basically taste its fear. He tried to understand it, where it came from. What could it do? What could he do? Could he influence it? Thus he pushed it. Not with his chakra though. His chakra was something that he didn't really focus on. He barely understood it, but he had something else inside of him. Something much older, something much more powerful. A part of him that existed beyond this world, beyond the rules of this confined space. The rat had went still. Its beady black eyes show understanding, like it was aware. It was in the presence of something much more terrifying. Its fear magnified to levels that made him feel a warm sensation running through his chest. Then its heart gave out. It died within his hand. Naruto gazed down towards the corpse. Frustrated, he had pushed too hard, pushed too much of himself into this tiny vessel, his influence that is. The rat's mind had simply shattered under the weight of what it truly saw, what it truly felt. He needed more, bigger. Time skip. The academy was perfect. 30 children within the class. All of them packed inside with their own blending emotions. Fear, anger, rage, jealousy. All of them was there. Kiba Inuzaka became his first target. A loud boy. And Inuzaka, he mocked Naruto when it came to ninjutsu. His performance was poor. He didn't transform. He couldn't hold the clone jutsu together. His levels in ninjutsu was below average. Was it? Well, Kiba was the first vessel. The first one that he should truly test. It was a simple nudge, a suggestion. He whispered to Kiba. He nudged him. He took his confidence and twisted it into pure arrogance. Kiba did not notice a foreign sensation, as far as he was concerned. As him and Naruto stood there, it was entirely his decision, as he rushed towards Naruto with far more force than the exercise required. Given the fact that he was trained by his clan, he was stronger than most. Kiba struck him with such force as he slammed against the ground. He felt the pain in the back of his skull. However, he tasted Aruka fear at not being able to stop what just happened. Kiba satisfyingly hitting him. He tasted all the other students' concern, confusion. Kiba! Aruka shouted. What were you thinking? As he pulled him back. Kiba looked down. I'm sorry, Naruto. I didn't know what came over me. Naruto waved off the apology as he picked himself up. It's okay. I should have a better guard, he said. He smiled. He smiled to himself. That night, as Naruto was laying in bed at the orphanage, he played it over in his mind over and over. The feeling of influencing Kiba emotions. The rush. The sensation of consuming that fear afterwards. It was intoxicating. But he also learned a few things. He could manipulate those around him at small doses without others finding out. Second, the emotional feedback from humans were vastly superior to animals. Vastly so. Pain, while unpleasant, it was worth it. 4. He need to be careful. If he pushed too hard too fast, they might discover a pattern. And Naruto was smart enough to know that. He started with more children, Ami and Kazumi. Best friends turned on one another. One simple insult turned into betrayal, turned into hate. He amplified Shino paranoia. The boy believed that someone was stealing his lunch the entire week. No one truly was. He dampened Choji's appetite for just one day, just to see if he could. He delighted in the distress and the confusion. Small changes, nothing lasting, nothing that would draw too much attention. However, with each experiment, he grew stronger. Yes, he grew stronger. His physical strength, even the power inside of him, even the chakra flowing more smoothly. It felt like a pipe was being opened. The only person that seemed immune was Sasuke Uchiha. Having recently survived the Uchiha massacre, he wrapped himself in hate. So much of it, so much grief, it was thick. As it seemed to blanket him. Why do you stare at him? Hinata questioned. She became something like a friend, at least a constant companion. The Hyuga girl was drawn towards Naruto in a way that she can't even explain. She sought him out for lunch and breaks. Because he's difficult, said Naruto. Everyone else is soft. But he's hard, unyielding. It makes me curious. Curious about what she said. What it would take to break him, said Naruto. Hinata paled, but she did not move away. Something Naruto appreciated about her. Even when she was afraid, she did not run. Like a mouse mesmerized by a snake that would probably eat it. You won't try to break him, won't you? She said. Naruto laughed. It sounded actually genuine. No, breaking people is boring. It's too easy, too final. It's much more interesting to see how they bend, said Naruto. Besides, he said, looking back at Sasuke, I have a feeling that someone else would try to break him eventually. And I want to see what happened when they do. Hinata did not respond, as she come to learn that some of his statement did not require a response. They were simply thoughts that he spoke aloud, things that he say out aloud to himself, not really to anyone. Time skip. He was aware of the seal on his stomach, but lately, it started to itch. It started to move like something was testing the boundaries of what it could do. If it was anyone else, they would be terrified. Glowing red eyes, trapped behind a massive gate with a seal intact. So, you've come. The voice was deep, dark. It was the Nine Tails, a beast that was taller than all the buildings within Konoha. The nine-tailed fox. A beast of power, a beast of hate, a beast of calamity. Most people believing that it was a walking natural disaster. Yet the casual way Naruto looked at it. You are different, the nine-tailed said, as Naruto wasn't drawn to its voice or compelled by his words. There's something wrong with you. Something familiar. Naruto tilted its head. You're what they sealed inside of me. The fox that destroyed the village. Well, at least, some of the glances make sense now. Perhaps, I already knew this. And you should be afraid, Kurama said as he slammed his hand against the gate, his chakra pulling, distorting the ear itself. Yet, Naruto smiled. Just for a moment, his blue eyes flashed. Two marks seemed to appear on his forehead, like another set of eyes. Fear? Naruto said, stepping forward. No, you don't understand. You can't make me afraid. He stepped directly to the gates. Because it is I. I am fear, said Naruto. I am the thing that fears come from. You're powerful, fox. Magnificent. But you are still just prey. What did you say? Kurama said, slamming his hand down, roaring. But Naruto wasn't threatened. He wasn't afraid. Naruto blinked. A moment there I don't know. Naruto said, confused. Something seemed to compel his actions a moment ago. He was surprised by his own actions. The words that he just said. Naruto looked at his hand for a long moment. You are going to help me. I am sealed. I can do nothing but rot in this prison until... No. You are not sealed. You're part of me. I can feel you in here, said Naruto as he placed a hand on his stomach. It's all here, mixed up in whatever I am. Kurama looked down towards him. You are no human. Far from it. At first I thought it was my influence. It was my chakra corrupting you, I thought. But I was wrong. You were never human, were you? I don't know what I was, said Naruto. I don't know what I am. I remember things that haven't happened yet. Or maybe they have. Maybe I remember more. I remember being powerful. I remember being... Naruto looked at his hands once again. Being something. Something more. A demon. Kurama said. You're not like tailed beasts. You're not a tailed beast, you're something older. Maybe, said Naruto. But right now I'm just a kid. Who's hungry all the time. A kid that needs to feed on fear, anger, and pain. Dealing with humans were different, but this wasn't a human that the fox was dealing with. Then we are not so different, he said. Something that sounded like respect in his tone. Very well. I shall help you, demon child. Not because I like you, I despise all humans, and whatever you are as well. But your power growing mean my freedom is close, as this prison weakens while your power grow. Anything for my freedom. Well, I can work with that. Over the following months, Naruto visit more often. The fox was always bitter, hateful, and angry, but years of knowledge. He was insightful, he was smart. The fundamental of demons did not really exist in this world in a natural state. You had stories about monsters that they called demons and devils, whatever they are. But most of them are simply build-up of chakra that are filled with hate, anger, and rage. The first time Naruto felt the crack of the fox chakra. In the seal that the fort had created, there were cracks. The first time he truly dived into it, it felt hot. It burned. It burned him. His weak form unable to truly grasp it. Pathetic, Kurama said. You want power and yet your body can't handle it. Then teach me. Teach me how to use it, said Naruto. Why would I do that? Because you're bored. Years of being trapped, captivated. Years of being controlled and manipulated. How long has it been since you actually do something other than sleep and watch? Kurama's silence was understanding enough. A moment of training took place between that time. Doses of chakra as Naruto's body started to adapt, showing a different complexity that confused even the fox. Naruto's body was weak, yes, but there was something that seemed to be locked away under that weak stature of his. Cuts and slashes were now be able to heal in minutes. Things that would have taken normal people weeks, days, were seconds to him as they started to trickle down. But in the eyes of the world, he was the dead last. Nothing special. He hid it all. He wanted the world to see him as weak, to see him as a target. And one night, 6 months after meeting the fox, is when he first tried to use that power inside of him. He dig deep and reach. The shadows on the wall move on their own accord, twisting and turning. The light seemed to flicker as everything seemed to grow ominous, cold and calm, unusually calm. The shadow passed over a tiny little rat. It seemed to stop and literally made contact with the rat. Naruto could feel the rat's heart. He could feel it beating so fast as it gave out. It died. He could feel it. He felt the sensation wash through him. He swallowed it. However, the shadow remained as Naruto watched. The fur of the rat became dark. Midnight dark. It became black. Its eyes fully red. When it looked at Naruto, there was recognition in its eyes. Submission. Naruto gazed towards a tiny creature. As it seemed to understand his will, he realized that he's taken its fear, its essence, transformed it and marked it into one of his subordinates. Naruto laughed, a delightful sound leaving his lips. "Did you see that, fox?" Naruto said. "I saw. You're learning. Good, but that trick is not gonna work on anything with significant spiritual power. A rat is one thing. A human, even a child, could resist that curd transformation." "Then I'll get better. I'll learn," said Naruto. "I'll evolve." Time skip. The Forest of Death was marked as a place that children were not supposed to visit. Not even Genins were given permission to go inside unless it was, well, something special. Say for example the Chunin exams. Yet, Naruto ventured inside. Yes, he ventured inside. There was a lot of dangerous things inside. Plants, wild animals. This was not a place for children. Naruto started to learn, projecting his will over vast distances, hiding without being detected, moving from the shadows, as if they consume him and release him. How to feed without killing. Using the shadows as distractions. He could not form anything. They would not solidify, but at least they move towards his will. When Naruto came here 3 months ago, he found something. A snake. Not a massive snake, not a summon, but larger than your average snake. He started to feed it. Rats that he transformed. With the darkness that oozed out of him. Slowly building a connection. Slowly building a pathway between them. The snake was always aware of him, but Naruto was smart. He stayed away and let the animals go wild, and then the snake would devour them. But tonight was different. Its yellow eyes turned and faced him as Naruto stepped out. "Hello," he said. He taken to speak to the creature that he was working with, despite the fact that the beast could not understand his words. "I brought you something." Naruto held a transformed rat. Naruto watched as the eyes of the snake fixated on it, seeming to grow a liking of the taste. The rat went down its throat without much hesitation, as it was swallowing Naruto's strike, not physically though but mentally, with all that he's learned, his essence reaching out. It felt like he was trying to hold water that was actively trying to escape out of every crack, and he had to seal all of the cracks up. He reached beyond the mind, reaching deeper and deeper into that place where fear lived. The muscles of the mind tried to strike him out. It tried to resist him. It tried to push him back. It was an apex predator, and it was trying to dominate him. It was trying to overcome him. Its eyes locked with Naruto's. They kept that up for a few minutes, until the eyes of the snake shifted, now glowing red. Naruto smiled. "You are mine," he said. Over the next few minutes, its scales became black, with red patterns like words that he could not describe. Marks of ownership. Once it was completed, Naruto stepped towards his first serpent, and his first servant as well. These were not like the rats. There was a much deeper connection beyond animal and human, beyond pet. There was something far deeper in the way they connected. It needed a name, something appropriate for a future dominance, a future army. Naruto smiled. "Legion," he said. "Because you are the first. And there will be more," he said. The tongue flickered out, now possessing two tongues. It flickered as if it was tasting the very ear. And Naruto felt that sensation in a strange way. Legion did his will before he could even execute the thought, hunting and moving as he desired. Their connection was flawless. Their bond was beyond. Going back, the snake had to say it was far too vast to come with him, but the connection was there. He knew where it was. He could feel it constantly. However, Naruto was being watched. It started when the matriarch spoke to him. Hiruzen Sarutobi was a very smart man. As he watched Naruto through his crystal ball he was eating, a friendship that formed somehow, despite the both of them having completely different personalities. He was watching Naruto constantly. On the up view it would seem normal, but sometimes Hiruzen saw it. The crack in the mask, the way he focused on students like a predator, gazing at their prey, the smile on his face whenever conflict break out. The Hokage has been watching Naruto for some time now. He was now 9 years old. Despite being ostracized and mocked by the village, he never suffered because of it. He never developed that part that needed attention, that needed a place to belong. He did not seem to care. And also the minor events, fights breaking out for no reason, students feeling this unexplained rage or fear, something of another. It wasn't something that he could understand. It was like something around Naruto, because he was always there. Months ago when Jiraiya came back, Hiruzen spoke to him. It could be the Nine Tails. Maybe the fox chakra is leaking out, influencing not just the boy but events around him. The hatred, the anger, the rage. But Hiruzen paid Naruto a visit on several occasions. The seal was strong, it was intact. If anything, it seemed stronger than ever. Suddenly, Hokage-sama, the monthly report on Naruto Uzumaki. An envoy handed him a scroll. The agent disappeared with a wave. The reports were just to keep track on Naruto's well-being. As they watched him, they monitored him. They checked on him. Academics, good. Performance, below average but improving. Social interaction, limited but stable. Physical health, excellent. Emotional state, stable. All of them normal. Perhaps a bit too normal. At the bottom though, there was a report from the agent that he left in charge of this. Subject display an unusual awareness of being watched. Multiple times this month, subject has looked towards the position of other agents that are observing him. It is a belief that he has greater detective abilities than what his performance in the academy suggests. There was no way 9-year-old students could not locate envelopes like this. Hiruzen set the scroll down. Nico, he said. It did not take long as an envelope with a cat mask appeared. I need you to conduct a deep investigation in Naruto Uzumaki, discreetly. I want to know everywhere he goes, everyone he talks to. Anything unusual in his behavior pattern. Sir, I've been one of his regular observers for the past 6 months. The boy is... I know what the reports say, Hiruzen said. I need you to look deeper. Assume that he knows that he's being watched. Assume that he's hiding something. And more importantly, assume that he's far more capable than he lets on. Nico, her true name Yujeo Uzuki, nodded. Understood, Hokage-sama. Do you suspect the Nine-Tail influence? She questioned. I suspect something, whether it's a fox or something else. Hiruzen trailed off as he gazed towards the crystal ball once again, as Naruto was laughing at something that Hinata said, but the laughter never truly reached his eyes. Just watch him very carefully. If I'm right that he's aware that he's being watched, he may be much more dangerous than any of us realize. With a wave, Nico left, leaving Hiruzen there, having so much questions and yet no answer to them. Time skip. 3 years later. It was the graduation. Naruto was now 12 years old. According to the official records, he barely passed. But there he stood with a Konoha headband. He passed. They believe him to be weak. However, in the past 3 years, Naruto had spent the time cultivating his abilities. His army now possessed 3 rats, 2 cats, a fox, and Legion, the snake, each one bound to him, each one, in a growing network of awareness that spread throughout the entire village of Konoha. He could see almost anywhere in the village. He could detect through their senses, before threats around him were even aware of his own existence. Him and the fox also came to an understanding. While he was not friendly, it was an understanding of something the both of them desired. We did it, Kiba said. We're finally Genins. Him and several others seemed to celebrate. Hinata saw him within the crowd and smiled, wearing her own headband as well. Over the years, she's become his closest friend. Not because he manipulated her into it. Surely he could have, but he didn't. But she chose to do that, knowing that on some level there was something wrong with him. He appreciated the kind of loyalty that she showed. Very much so. Naruto Uzumaki, Aruka said. As he congratulated him, Naruto stood there. Thank you, Aruka-sensei. I couldn't have done it without your help. Obvious lie, but Naruto played his part as others. Took interest into everything that was going on. When everyone was not paying attention, he disappeared. Legion had grown over the years, moving throughout Konoha tunnels underneath, discovering secrets. Mizuki. Mizuki was the assistant sensei for the academy, meeting with unknown people speaking about plan and target. Legion had followed him on several occasions. Tonight was different though. Tonight was special. Mizuki was not alone, he was with another, a man known as Toji, as they discussed their plan. This was a final move in their plan. I have access to the lower levels tomorrow. It gave me a 15-minute window, right after midnight. Good. Bring it to where we discuss, and you shall be rewarded, Mizuki said, as Naruto observed, watching. Mizuki spoke to himself. The item that he wanted to take was a forbidden scroll. Naruto did not see him as a leader. It seems like someone was pulling his string, He was just a little puppet, and there was a puppeteer behind him. Kurama watched Naruto very carefully. You are planning something, he questioned. With that instructor, the one that reek of treachery. Are you going to kill him? Maybe. Maybe not, said Naruto. I just want to try something. After all, he will be perfect. My first human test. It will be glorious. I'm far stronger than what I was back then. And I've been thinking about what you said. About me being some kind of demon beyond this rule of this world. Something that is not fundamentally fixed in any part of this world. Naruto said as he gazed forward into the darkness. I want to see just what I can do, pushing myself to the extreme. To see if I can make something. Something to serve me. My first true demon. Not an animal transformation, but something of a human. Mixed with my own presence. Transform and evolve to a new level of understanding. Kurama was intrigued. The next night, things went as Mizuki wanted to. They got the scroll. It was perfect. Everything was Toji blank. Not expecting the betrayal as the kunai plunged into his chest. He collapsed. Idiot. Did you really think I would share power with you? You were just a means to an end. Mizuki said as he got the forbidden scroll. Yes, this is perfect, he said. With this, there will be no doubt. Hello there. Mizuki's heart felt like it skipped a beat. He spun around. Who's there? Show yourself. The voice came from around, but he could not see. Finally though, as you wish. Naruto stepped out of the shadows. Mizuki was shocked. Naruto? What are you? Tell me, sensei. Do you know what fear tastes like? Naruto questioned as he reached out. Not with his hand though, but with his will. And he pushed everything that he learned over the years. He pushed it forward. This wasn't subtle. This was overwhelming force, slamming into Mizuki's consciousness. Mizuki screamed extremely. He dropped and screamed loudly to the heavens. It wasn't a physical pain though, but a mental one. His mind, his soul was being rewritten. Right there and then. Animals were simple though, going off just their emotions, but humans were complicated. Layers of memories, personalities, ego, all of it. Mizuki started to fight. He tried, pushing back against his will, pushing back against his dominating force. He tried to push it away. His will to survive, his will to go on, his will to keep on living. But most of this did not mean anything to what Naruto was becoming. It took over as Naruto started to pull into that power. For a moment, there were strange figments that appeared above his own eyes, like other eyes coming into reality. As he spoke, his voice darker. Your fear, he said. Your ambition. Your hate for this village. Your jealousy for those who are stronger than you. Your cowardness. I can see them all. He looked deep within to Mizuki. Beyond his eyes, beyond him. I see, said Kurama. You are not destroying his personality, but you're layering it. Bending it. Layering yourself over it. Like a coat of paint. Putting your own dominance over it. Leaving him to remain himself, but himself that would serve you. That's the idea. An interesting technique, Kurama said. A mindless puppet is useless, said Naruto. I need a servant who can think, who can act independently, to serve, who will also remain loyal. As Naruto reached deeper, the deeper he reached, the more he started to access what he truly was. You could see it by the power and the distortion, the very atmosphere thickening to his presence being released. The power that lie under the surface, something vast, something unending. Think of Mizuki chakra as clear water. Now it was thick like sludge, coursing and pulping and twisting through his system. His body started to change as well. His canine teeth start to lengthen, growing. His nails start to extend. Muscles ripple and grow. His eyes pulsating red. His features changing into a demonic state. His skin becoming pale. But it was his soul, twisted and bent. Once, well, not exactly pure, but now becoming a hybrid. Still possessing his memories, cunning and tricky and sly. But just like Legion and the rats, he became a demon. Imperfect, incomplete, but a demon nonetheless. Naruto stepped back. It wasn't a long time. The change laid out in front of him as Mizuki jumped to his feet. He looked at Naruto. He then proceeded to go to one knee. "My lord," he said, "I am yours." Naruto smiled. "Yes, you are. Do you remember who you are?" Mizuki touched his face. "I'm Mizuki, academy instructor who betrayed his village a moment ago and killed Toji as I tried to steal a forbidden scroll," he said. What have you made me into?" "Something better than you were," said Naruto as he approached, gazing towards his creation. "You are my first creation, my first demon," said Naruto, "in human form. Well, no longer human, completely. I feel..." Mizuki clenched his fists. "I feel powerful, wrong, terrible, and wonderful," he said. "The transformation isn't complete. I still lack complete control over this power. You're still mostly human in features, but that will change soon enough as I grow." Mizuki nodded. "What would you have me do, my lord?" he said. "My lord." The words sound right. It sound perfect. It sound like his destiny. "First the body," said Naruto. "That needs to disappear," he said. Looking towards Toji's corpse, Mizuki picked it up. "There are places in the forest where envoys won't find the remains, but the animals will." "No," said Naruto. "I want you to take it where it will be found. Make it look like he was killed by a wild animal, something large." Mizuki paused as confusion flickered across his face. "But my lord, that would lead to an investigation." "Exactly. I want the third to investigate," said Naruto. "He will discover that the scroll has been stolen, and he will search for Toji's accomplice, and he will find nothing. Because you will continue to teach at the academy, acting normal, hiding in plain sight," said Naruto, while investigation turned somewhere else. "Ah, I see, misdirection," Mizuki said, keeping suspicion away from the academy entirely. "You're still smart. That is good," said Naruto. "I need smart." Naruto picked up the forbidden scroll. As he gazed towards it, "This needs to be returned," he said. "Can you get back to the tower without being detected?" "Now, yes. My chakra signature is different, but I can suppress it enough so that it will not be detected. But security will be heightened after they discover the theft," Mizuki said. "Which is why you're returning it tonight. Before the body is discovered, put it back exactly where it was. But Toji's death will appear unrelated," said Naruto. "A random tragedy. No one will understand or detect that the real theft tonight was you," said Naruto. "And what then, my lord? After putting back the scroll and getting rid of the body, then you return back to your life, teach at the academy, act normal, be the same Mizuki, that everyone expects to see, said Naruto. As he stepped forward, but you're mine now. My eyes and ears in the village. My blade whenever I need it. When the time comes, the truth will be revealed about who I am. I will be there, my lord. Alongside whatever your orders are, I will be there. Perfect, said Naruto. Now go. He vanished within the shadows, moving with a new insane speed. Well done. You've created it. Your first demon. More human with demon traits, but still. While doing so, that power inside of you, it grew. Yes, Naruto said. Fragments. They return slowly. I also feel it coursing through me. Stronger than ever. It seems changing a human brought more power to the surface than I ever thought. A new avenue has opened up. A new way of understanding. A new way of growing. It shall be. Naruto smiled. The shadow on the ground showed 4 glowing red eyes. Spectacular, he said, with a wicked smile. Meanwhile, Hiruzen blinked, suddenly feeling this cold, chilling sensation, unable to explain what the sensation truly was, but it felt so off-putting, so terrifying. He didn't know what it was though, unaware that everything had changed. Everything. But guys, me and subs right here. If you want to see part 2, just go ahead and tell me, and I'll be posting it as soon as possible for you guys to enjoy. But I'm out for now. See you guys soon. Peace.